It's Courtney
And Spencer here.
with Axe and All Leatherworks.
Jumping right in here, we're going to cover the basic tools we use for painting.
First up is our henna bottle applicator. These come in a variety of sizes. We prefer the 18 gauge needle tip with the 1 ounce bottle.
When working with the henna paint applicators, it's great to have a needle around to keep the tip clear of obstructions. Obviously, cleaning it will help with that. Ultimately, it's keeping your paint flowing smoothly, which is important.
Next up is a regular old Q-tip. We're going to use this for prepping your leather project prior to applying any paint to that.
You're going to see too why that stage is so important.
Here we have a regular old paintbrush. The brushes I prefer we get from Weaver. With that being said, you're going to use both ends of the paintbrush, and you'll see that later on in the video how important that can be. We also have a bamboo skewer sitting there that's used for the fine details. And lastly, one of the most important items to have around is that blowtorch that you see in the back. With that, you're going to be able to eradicate any bubbles that come up during your painting. Jumping right in, we're going to start with preparing our leather product for paint. First tools we're going to be using are our leather deglazer prepper and a Q-tip.
So these preparation tips will apply to veg tan leathers, which is mostly what we work with. We don't really apply much paint to anything other than veg tan leathers, whether they're finished or raw. So with that, your miles may vary on your specific project, so just keep that in mind.
So here you'll see that we're using the Angelus prepping and deglazer. All of our products that we use for painting and prepping our straps are Angelus brand and all come from Weaver Leather Supply. As you see, we are going through and simply just brushing on with a Q-tip the deglazer, which is removing any of oils or finishes that might be on top of the leather. We're going to go through and do this for everything that is going to be painted, and then you're going to simply blot dry to make sure that any residual is taken off of that.
So from there, this particular strap is a flag themed strap, so it's an American flag paint theme. You'll see here the spots that Courtney's filling in are individual stars. We made those stars with a simple tooling tool. We can link the item number to that, but it's just a star. With a star and a mallet, you just make a whack, choose where you like it, and you have your stars. The rest of this particular project is somewhat free painted as far as there's no lines or anything like that, and you'll see those lines getting laid down as Courtney progresses through the project.
So next you're going to see we're going to be applying an extremely small amount of paint. I choose to use the henna bottle. It just allows me to have, more control. However, when Spencer paints, he uses just, the brush dipped into the paint. It just comes with user preference. I've been doing this for a while, so I'm more comfortable with it. When Spencer steps in, he's not as comfortable with those henna bottles. But like I said, it's user preference. And with this, you're going to be going through and applying a very, very light coat. Similar to painting a wall, you want to make sure you have a good primer on there and allow that to dry 100% prior to putting any other paint on, which in turn will prevent any air bubbles or streaks.
Cracking or streaks. Ultimately, doing this right from the get-go is key. So this is definitely one of those places where preparation is one of the most important steps. So don't skip out on the deglazer and the thin coats. I know it's exciting. You want to see how it's going to look. Be prepared for those first few coats to look pretty rough. Up until the final coat, when we do touch-ups, you're going to see imperfections. This is a very time-consuming part, and it takes a lot of patience.
So as you can see, we're going to finish this one up and set it aside to dry, and we're going to move on to our next project. This is a locker tag that I've already put a good dent in, and we're going to go through and finish up. The customer has requested a outline on the side, so you're going to see that I'm going to use this henna bottle. Whenever you're using the henna bottle, the best thing to do is to apply extremely light pressure.
And two, on the henna bottle topic, anytime you use it prior to use, you're going to want to bleed any air that might be in the applicator out into like your little paint palette or a napkin, whatever it is, there's always an air bubble in there. And having it splatter across whatever you're painting is no fun. There is a way to remedy bubbles, and that's going to be via using the torch, and we covered that a little bit earlier on when we discussed the tools used. We actually, oddly, never had any bubbles form throughout this video, so you're not going to see it in action. But it's essentially just a slight pass with the torch, and it'll eliminate any bubbles you see. That's not really an issue in the outline, but on the fill paint, it definitely plays a huge role to keeping your paint looking smooth.
Using these henna bottles, it takes experience and repetition and becoming comfortable with knowing the pressure, the amount of pressure to place to get a good outline.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't use these often. Courtney actually does 95% of the painting. So with that, I kind of steer clear of these just because I don't have enough reps in. Courtney has painted thousands of radio straps and small items like you see here. So that experience speaks volumes with using these specific tools. They are definitely a challenge, but once you get past that learning curve, it pays dividends. It's definitely worth having this tool in your toolbox for painting. Lastly, sealers. So we get a lot of questions about sealing the paint. Angelus is a paint and sealer in one. They do have a finish that you can add to your painted projects. They have a matte and a gloss. We do not use those. We just roll with the deglazing prior, which is extremely important, and then use their standard acrylic paint. Well, we hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. We're generally very attentive to comments or messages. Outside of that, we hope you all have a great week.
And head on over to our YouTube channel and subscribe for future content.